It's a glorious day at Wellness 101 with your integrative wellness and life coach, Dr. Adrienne Pinkney. Greetings! It's me, Adrienne Pinkney, your Be Well coach, and I'm so excited to be with you today and talk to you about partnership. So before I get started, I always start with a few quotes about the topic. So today I have 3 quotes about partnership. The first is from Helen Keller, and it reads, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." The next quote by Aristotle reads, "Friendship is essentially a partnership." And the final quote by Mark Allen, "In partnership, the result is harmony, respect, love, and an explosion of creativity and joy." So, let's talk about why we partner. I'm going to start with talking about attachment because when people partner, they essentially decide to come together, hold hands, and agree on something. So in some ways, they attach, they connect. So first, let's talk about why we attach or why we partner, why we come together. So attachment, partnership, is basically the most primitive human survival technique. We partner with others because we can go further, do more, and accomplish more when someone else is with us. So if we think about hunters and they wanted to go out and catch a lion, um, the hunter who's going out would feel more confident in going further and further into the woods because there are 3 others with him who have his back, who are listening. There are more eyes looking through the trees. He can go out and reach his goal knowing that he has a team of people who are supporting him. He is not alone. Women did the same thing in hunting and gathering. Nobody really went out and got berries by themselves, and if they did, they didn't go too far because we need to be close to others to make sure that we're safe and secure. So this is why we partner. So who we attach to? Well, we pick who we attach to as adults, but we come into the world inherently partnered and attached. So we're first attached to our parents, more specifically our mother, for very specific survival needs. And then we attach to others as we grow. With little kids, we learn that we need to hold somebody's hand when we cross the street because we're safer that way. There's so many ways that we start attaching really early in life. So what are the benefits of attachment? There are so many. I'll give you guys an example of a study that was done on children in a playground. And researchers watched children who played, and they watched their relationship between the mother and the child. And mothers who were more attentive to their children paid attention to what they were doing. Those children played more confidently. They went out further on the playground. They felt more secure in creating relationships with other children because they knew that if I fall or if I mess up or if something bad is happening, that my mom is paying attention and that she will be here to have my back if I need her. So it's very basic. I mean, most children, when they fall, the first thing they do is look back and see if someone saw them do it. And if their mom is looking and says, "You're okay," or "Are you okay?" they feel safer because they know their attachment, their partner, their security is strong. So children who had less attentive moms who were on the cell phone or reading a book or in a deep conversation with someone else, those children did not go out as far on the playground because they knew that somebody's not watching me. They're not giving me their undivided attention. So if I get hurt, I might be laid out for a few minutes before she looks up. So I might not go so far out in the playground, build as many relationships because I'm less secure in the attachment that I have. My partner might not be having my back the way I need them to. So what are the drawbacks of attachment? Well, with attachment, there's connection. So that means that whoever I am connected to, whatever they do to themselves will inherently affect me. A lot of quotes about attachment say that all suffering comes from attachment. It's when I connect to anything or anyone in a very specific way and make it about myself. That means that if they leave, it can hurt me. If they don't do what they say they're going to do, it can hurt me. So partnering and attaching is beautiful for so many reasons and can be really problematic if you are not clear about how to partner and more specifically who to partner to. So today I'm going to help you get a little bit of clarity around how to be a great partner, how to choose a partner, and exactly what partnership even means. So this video is not just about partnering romantically, but it's about partnering any kind of relationship that you're in, business, friendships, because all of the relationships that we have, anyone that we're attached to, we are partnered with. So let's get some awesome partnerships. So the first part of partnering is sharing an experience. Whenever I decide that I want to be with someone or partner with someone, whatever they experience, I experience it too. For example, when I go out with my girlfriends, when I used to go out when we were younger and guys just, they didn't quite get it. So let's say me and one of my girlfriends were walking down the street and somebody reached out to grab her arm and be like, hey, like you fine girl or whatever. The minute that he grabbed her arm, she and I both turned around like, what the heck? Even though no one had touched me, even though no one had grabbed me, she and I were so connected. We were so together. I was so partnered with her that anything that happened to her happened to me too. So what wouldn't feel as good to my friend is if somebody grabbed her arm and I just kept walking because I was so into my own little world or so into what I was doing that I didn't notice what had happened to her. So a basic part of partnering with someone is shared experience. That's huge. Another way that we share experiences with people, and this is really good for those in relationships. For example, let's say there is a family and the husband and wife are trying to go to church, and the wife really wants the kids' clothes to match, and she's very stressed because somebody came downstairs and their clothes aren't matching, and she has her little theme for what the family's going to look like, and somebody's not in line. So she's stressed. To partner with her is to share her experience. That means that if the wife is stressed, the husband does not say to his wife, well, baby, just let it go. It's not that big of a deal. We're going to be late. He joins with her. That means he shares in her experience. So if she's stressed that he has on a black belt with brown shoes, and she's like, oh my God, we can't go out the door like that. Her husband needs to then say, you're right. He has on black belt and brown shoes. How can I help you fix that? What can I do to help? Do we need to find black shoes or do we need to find a brown belt? Because when he partners with her, when she's stressed and he joins in that experience with her, they are together. What wouldn't be good is for him to oppose her and say, you should let it go, or it's not that big of a deal, because then that puts her on an island having an emotional experience by herself where she is not supported. So partnering is not just a matter of what's happening to me is happening to you, but it's also that I feel that I can connect with the feeling experiences that you have. And even if little Johnny, finally named this kid that I'm talking about, has to go to church with the black belt and the brown shoes that don't go together, right? Even if he partners with her just enough to help her look, in the end, it feels better for them because they are still together. She didn't get left when she got stressed out. Big part of partnering, remember this, is experiencing what your partner is experiencing. Next, another huge part of partnering is you have to stand with people. So that when something happens to you, it happens to them too, but standing with someone means that you don't leave them, especially when stuff gets stressful. I had a heartbreaking experience one time where I was in Paris with a dear friend of mine, and the waiter was being very rude to me. Very rude to me. And if you've ever traveled to France, you know that they're like language snobs. I don't blame them. French is a beautiful language. And yes, if I travel to France, I should try and speak some French. So I'm sitting here trying to order some pizza, and I ordered a pizza with something extra on it. And the order came out wrong. So he brought my pizza, and I guess it didn't have mushrooms on it. I'll just say it didn't have mushrooms. And so I was like, oh, this isn't the right pizza. Sorry, sir. I'm going to need you to remake my pizza because this ain't what I ordered. So he takes the pizza back, and they just drop some mushrooms on top of it and brings it back to me. Like, didn't bake the pizza or anything. I said, sir, this isn't what I ordered. Like, I need you to make me a new pizza. So he gets his little French man attitude, snatches my pizza, and goes back to the kitchen and puts that pizza in the oven and brings me back that same pizza that's like burned at this point because it had been cooked twice. So finally, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to communicate with this man. And here's the crazy part. My friend who I'm having lunch with speaks fluent French. And during this entire confrontation, he said nothing. I mean, if there was anybody who could have got some clarity as to what was going on, he had the skill that I needed. He had the language that I needed, but he said nothing. So anyway, finally, I had to get up myself and go find the manager in the back of the restaurant. And I was like, sir, I'm going to need you guys to make me a new pizza. I also need a new waiter. This isn't working. So the owner didn't speak English. So I found another bilingual person, like my friend who's bilingual, who's not saying anything. So I found another bilingual person to translate for me. In the end, I got my pizza, and I sat and I looked at my friend. And I thought about the situation. And it could have happened the exact same way, even if he wasn't there. And that was very hurtful and very problematic for me and a turning point in our friendship because part of partnering is standing with someone. That means when they're being mistreated, you're being mistreated. When someone's being rude to them, they're being rude to you. That is true partnership. A lot of romantic relationships break down when people don't feel protected and stood up for by their partners. Like, you let your mama talk about me. Or we were sitting in this restaurant and this man was being rude to me and you didn't say anything. Or you sit here and you let your sisters and your mom rag on me and that's okay with you. So partnership has to be protective. It has to be connected or otherwise it doesn't work. So we've got two things. When you're partnered, you share experience. The next thing, you stand with someone. And the third means that you share victories. So another part of partnering with someone is that if anything great happens to them, it's happening to you too, because there is a connection there, which means that I'm not threatened by their successes or their good things or their joy, because whatever good things are happening to them, it's also feeding into me. Because we hold hands, because we are connected, the great things that happen within their body will eventually feed over to me. So in a marriage, if a wife or a husband starts making more money, then we have more money in our home. Therefore, we are winning. So I am just as excited about your promotion, if not more so, than you are. If your relationship with your family gets better, I am happier for you because that brings more happiness into our home. I am not necessarily threatened by your new relationship with your old family because I've got a happier, more loved, more supported partner. Now, a lot of times when our individual self-esteem and self-worth is not together, we can be threatened by other people's victories. And sometimes people start acting out. That's when you have to make a new choice about partnership. But when someone is partnered with you and connected to you in a really good way, good things that happen to you, they will celebrate those things. They will want good things to happen to you because they'll be a part of them. So 4, about partnership. So we share experiences, that's 1. 2, we stand with them. 3, we share victories. And 4, we invest in them. So whenever I'm partnered to someone, I know that our connection means that whatever's happening to them will affect me. So that means if my partner is depressed or really, really down, I don't have to fix it. I can't fix that. That's something for them to fix on their own emotional, you know, area or whatever. They have to fix that for themselves emotionally. However, I can do things to contribute to or invest in their happiness or in their wellness because I know that that means more for me. Therefore, I might not be able to do anything about the fact that you're depressed, but I can offer you an opportunity to go to a massage on Saturday because I can do the little things that I can do to help you get to a good place because I am connected to the experience that you're having. And that really, really lets us know that we're not alone. That we're not alone. The most hurtful thing is, one of the most hurtful things is experiencing something and feeling like your partner left you in that moment. Like a parent dies, or maybe you lose a job, something like that, and you don't feel like your partner was really there with their time, with their actions, even with just their listening ear. So a huge part of partnership is investing in another person's experience and really understanding that I connect to the experience that you're having. 5, in partnership, we have to be considerate of the people that we are partnered with. If I want you to stay with me, I have to consider you. If we are going to keep holding hands, I can't move without being in discussion with you about that. Because, well, I'll tell you why in a second. So, for example, if I want to stay in partnership with a romantic partnership, when I get a job offer in a new city, I can't come home and just be like, look, I'm moving. You know, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm taking this job. You're going to have to figure that out. Being considerate of your partner is saying, I really want this job, but I want it to be beneficial for both of us because I understand that if we are going to continue to hold hands and stay together, I can't just yank you and say, come on. Or, well, you can if that person don't know who the hell they are. But anyway, that I want it to be beneficial for both of us, and I would like for you to come with me. So that means I want to take a step left. Let's talk about it so that when it's time to go left, we're both moving together. Because if we don't have that discussion, I can be yanking you, and you'll be dragged if you so choose to be dragged, and it won't feel good to you. And that will breed resentment and anger and breakdown, and over time, you might choose to let go. So being considerate means you have to be in constant discussion. I have another great story about how to consider your partner. I was in a relationship with an adventurous guy. He was a sweetie. We had that for a long time. And he liked the woods and to go into nature. And, he didn't want to do that alone. He wanted to go with his partner. So I went in the woods with my boo. I mean, why wouldn't I? So we went on this trip to Costa Rica. And we were on this resort, and they had these, jungles. Straight jungle paths that you could go on. So, we were looking for the path. And it looked like it was just woods to me. And he's like, oh, no, here's the path. I said, well, where's the path? This is woods. I don't see no path here. So we go in the woods path. And as we're walking in the woods path, he is in total adventurous mode. He's like an adventurer. His music was playing it, it was in his mind. He could not see me in these moments. So he was ahead of me, and I'm scared. I'm totally freaking out. It's probably snakes and spiders, and all we got is some water. I don't do this, but I'm doing it because I want to go with my partner. And so he's walking in the woods, and he's pushing back all these bushes. And every time he's pushing these bushes back, they're slapping back on me. Like he's pushing the branches out the way and slapping back on me. So I was like, hey, you keep letting the bushes hit me. And I don't think he heard me because he kept going in adventure mode. And, I didn't want to be too loud and attract the animals to me. So I'm like, hey, things keep hitting me. And he just couldn't hear me for whatever reason. Maybe the music in his mind was too loud. So finally I decided I'm being dragged. This isn't good for me. So I stopped moving my feet. I just stopped right where I was and just let him keep going. And I think eventually he realized he was by himself. So he turned around and he said, "What's wrong? Like you're upset. I can tell you're mad, Adrian," because I was mad. And he said, "Well, what's wrong?" And I said, "Well, you keep letting all the branches slap back on me. Like every time you go up, you're letting the branches slap back on me. I've told you this 5 times." And he said, "Oh, is that what you meant? He's like, I heard you. I didn't understand what you were saying." I said, "If you let one more branch hit me, I swear, as scared as I am, I will go back through these woods by myself. I am not to be slapped by these branches." So he was really apologetic. And then we continued to go through the woods. And it was so funny because after that, he, when the branches, he would like hold the branches like he was holding a door. He would hold the little bushes back, and then I could go forward. And then he'd go and hold the next bushes, and I could go forward. And that's how we could stay partnered, because he was being considerate of me, because I'm with you, because I'm here. You are not here by yourself. Therefore, things that you are doing are affecting me, and I need you to see me here. So anyway, a huge part of partnership is considering the other person who you're with. A big part of making sure that you are considered is using your voice, talking about your own needs, and making sure that you are seen. Because if y'all want to be together, it's got to be good for both of you. 6, know their strengths and weaknesses. When you have a partner, your partner will have their own inherent things that they're good at and their things that they're not so good at. And that's okay. An example of another relationship, I was with a guy who was really good at hanging stuff up. I mean, he could do like house stuff. I loved it. There's a lot of guys who can't do that anymore. But he was great at house stuff. He could build it and put stuff together. So anytime I went to IKEA, I was very confident that I did not need to pay the extra money to have someone put this together, because he can. And one of my strengths in the relationship was decorating and making a beautiful space. I'm really good at hosting and putting things together like that. So if he ever wanted to have an office event or anything like that, I can do it. And it's going to be so nice and classy and elegant because I'm good at things like that. So a big part of partnership is knowing your partner's strengths and also knowing your partner's weaknesses. And that means that if your partner struggles with keeping committed to their own diet, or managing their time in a way that's good, or if you know your partner struggles to say no, you're not responsible for that, but you can partner with them by making it easier for them to do what they need to do. That means that if I bring these Oreos in the house, she'll eat them, and that doesn't support what she's trying to do for herself, I don't bring the Oreos in the house. And if I can still eat Oreos, but she can't, I only eat them at work. Because I am someone's partner. So I am with her and for her. I don't make things harder. Or if I know that my partner has a hard time saying no, I can acknowledge that when we have a conversation and just say, "Baby, I know it's hard for you to say no. And I know it's hard for you to say no to me because I'm fine. But it's okay to say no. I just want to offer you that when we have this conversation. I mean, if it's something you can do, great, because I want you to say yes. But, if you can't, I just want to partner with you enough to know that I know that you struggle here and know that it's okay for you to say no." So a huge part of partnership is knowing your partner's strength, knowing your partner's weaknesses, partnering with them in a way that they can win with you. This is my favorite. Teaching your partner your strengths. So I have actually had a debate one time with one of my aunts about this, who strongly disagreed with me about something that I think, and you might disagree, and that's okay. So partnership, a lot of times in marriages, people divide labor. So they'll say like, "Oh, my husband's really good at the money, so he does all of that, and I'm really good with the kids and the cooking, so I do those things." Or, I don't know, just a division of labor. And it's a cool idea. I mean, hey, I get it. I get why people do it. But there is no successful partnership when people don't know how to make the entire business, household, joint venture run. So if I'm in business with someone else, I can't say, well, you just do the books and I'll just make the secret sauce that we put on the burgers. Because that means that she's the only one who knows about the money and I'm the only one who knows about the sauce. So if I'm sick for a month, or if I get hit by a bus, well, there goes our financial, or there goes the sauce making. How are we going to make this sauce? So when you are partnered with someone, a huge part of being successful as a unit means that you teach your strengths to your partner. Now, she might not be able to make the sauce as good as me, and I might not be able to manage the books as well as her, but I have enough knowledge that I can do this in my partner's absence. Therefore, if we are joined, if we are truly joined, if this is really a joint venture, we both have to be equally invested and really knowledgeable about all parts of it. Actually, a lot of times people express resentment in relationships where they set up division of labor because they're no longer partnered in that. So in the example where a husband does everything with the money and his wife doesn't know anything about the finances, when he's stressed about money, she doesn't understand why. Why are you so stressed, baby? It's not that big of a deal. Well, she doesn't have the same knowledge about everything that's going on with the finances in the home because she's not connected there. And partnership is about connection, meaning that we don't want to have to do this all by ourselves. I don't want to have to be the only one who's worried about the money in this house. I don't want to be the only one who's worried about the well-being of the kids. I don't want to be the only one who's worried about where we're going to go for our family vacation. I want us both to have an invested interest in making sure that this is good. Therefore, I want you to care as much as I do about how his grades are, and I want you to care as much as I do about these investments for our family. And that is connection. That is partnership. That's where we come together. Partnership does not work as well when we divide things to the extent that we completely exonerate our partners from having any responsibility to an area of our joint venture. 8. There are some people that you cannot partner with. Let me say that one again. There's some people you can't partner with. Once you understand what it means to really connect and really partner with someone, you have to recognize that there's sometimes you cannot partner with people. If my goal is to have a financially sound future for myself and future generations in my family, I cannot partner with someone who makes bad financial decisions. They will destroy me. They will destroy my vision. They will destroy my finances. And they will be more of a liability than an asset to my team. Therefore, making a conscious choice, and y'all know I'm all about consciousness, living consciously, be really clear what that means if a financially savvy and secure person partners with someone who is financially irresponsible. That will be a damaging partnership. That is just as damaging as a hunter going out in the woods and saying, hey, I'm going to go and shoot this lion. And I noticed that while I'm out here, I'm getting eaten by a pack of hyenas because you ain't paying attention to what I'm doing. You don't have my back. You aren't with me. And when you're not doing your job, I can either be destroyed by the elements outside or I can be destroyed by you, my own partner. Yikes. Whew, that's hard. I can't partner with someone who criticizes me and demeans me and says bad things to me or allows other people to say bad things to me because I am damaged with you on my team. I might even be better off without you. And that's a huge part of when relationships, friendships, marriages, even business partnerships start to break down. When I recognize that you are a liability to me, that I am better off without sharing my story with you. I am better off when I don't connect my money to yours. I am better off when I don't share my heart and my feelings with you because you do really mean things or say things that tear that down. I can't be with you on very, very basic survival. Like basic survival. I cannot partner with you. So, in understanding more about partnership, I encourage you to be really conscious and strategic about whose hand you hold, who you go out into the woods with, who you share your life and your vision with, who you share your finances with, who you invite to the table to sit with you and be with you, and what they are saying towards you and what they're allowing others to say and do towards you. And the most important part of partnership, this is amazing, is partnering with yourself. When we are self-partnered, we don't allow bad things to happen to us because we have ourselves first. So before you can really find the right partner for yourself in your own relationship, your business, or your friendships, you got to be so self-partnered that you can choose the right partner. But because I will not allow Adrian to be disrespected, I won't partner with a disrespectful person because I have committed to that for myself first. And if I am disrespected, Adrian Rochelle Pinckney, I love you so much, I will take your hand and walk you right on out the room. I got you first. I have you first. Self-partnering is about knowing that I will be responsible for my own protection, my own safety, my own respect and responsibility and self-love and self-worth. I will do those things for me first. And because I do those things for me first, I will not partner myself with someone who is not willing to share experience with me, who does not stand with me, who does not share in my victories, who does not invest in me, who does not consider me, who does not know my strengths and weaknesses, and who does not teach me their strengths so that I can be better. So what I will partner with is someone who does share in my experiences. And when something great and amazing happens to me, like this cool video, they get excited about it. Someone who stands with me so that I know that I'm not alone in the world. And if somebody talks to me crazy, we're both outraged at the same time. Someone who shares my victories, who understands that when Be Well becomes all the things that it's going to be, that it is great for all of us, whether that's a friend or a romantic partner. Someone who invests in me and wants me to be happy, so says, go get your nails done. Someone who considers me and understands that because I am with her as my dear friend, that when she makes a big decision, she talks to me about it too because she knows that this is going to affect our friendship. Who knows my strengths and weaknesses and also is willing to teach me all the strengths that they have, whether it's a girlfriend who does great makeup or really cool hair, that she is not afraid to share those things with me so that we can be better and more beautiful and more fabulous together because we are partnered. This week, your homework is to journal about your commitment to being a better partner. What can you do better? Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to be with you. I'm glad to be on your team. And this video is my investment in your betterment as I get better. So we are already partnered. Thanks for being on my team. I'm really excited to be on yours. I ask that you subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And if you think that this video would benefit someone that you know, share it. Thanks for checking me out. Be well.
Be light. Be free. Be noticed. Be peaceful. Be authentic. Be super. Be well.